ko Dua and Takuingoa. Firstly, Kamahi Nui, Reti and Renee, Tina Korua. I'm part of our little Otahu Mangry crew that came down this morning. And we have yet to have a march like this in South Auckland. And so, you know, I'm hoping that when we do, like, we'll get some tautoko. What I want to say is, I want to build on the corridor that came before me, aroha mai. The first is about treating drug and alcohol abuse as a health issue and not a crime. I think this is vitally important for our movement to take on, that if someone has an addiction, we should treat it like a disease or a sickness. We should not treat them as subhuman. Now, what we are experiencing here in Aotearoa, Metawaiponamu today has been put on us and has been experienced by people that have been colonized and brutalized overseas before. I'd like us all to think that in the 80s and 90s in America, when their government spread crack cocaine throughout the ghetto to bring down and control the Black Liberation Movement and the Black African American people there. So I'd just like to repeat what Noah has said. You know, none of us here own a pharmaceuticals factory. You know, I don't know a single person that owns a pharmaceuticals factory. Those are the people that actually are benefiting from the misery and pain and suffering of our people. And I think it's vital for our movement to identify where our enemies are. And it's the pharmaceutical industries, it's the government, and the problem, kia ora. What we have instead is that if someone is on methamphetamines, they are identified as a crackhead. And then once you're identified as a crackhead, you count no longer as being human. So if you get thrown in the boot, if you get tortured, if you get raped, it's not like a middle-class white person being having their rights violated. It's a crackhead who is deserving of no human rights. And this stigma we need to fight in our movement, and we need to take that knowledge out into the street. Now, there was a corridor before about the prison industrial complex. Now, me and Reti have talked about this before. One of our demands needs to be, if methamphetamines are seized by the government, there should be independent observers at every single destruction of the drugs. Because we're sick and tired, especially in South Auckland, but all over the country, of hearing of crooked cops taking, if not all, some of the confiscated meth and then selling it back into the community. We're fucking sick of it. And no one talks about this, despite the fact that it's almost a routine operation. I've got a friend that works in the Auckland Central Courts, and like, it's a fucking, in Auckland Central, for Christ's sake, it's a routine operation for the police to take the methamphetamines from the evidence cases and then go and sell it on the street for extra money. So, just, you know, I won't go into the whole prison system and the racism and like heartache that causes, but I think there, you know, someone mentioned before, we need to have, we need to think about the way forward for our movement, and on the road to fighting to decriminalize these drugs and to treat them as a health issue and not a crime, we have to demand that there are independent observers at the destruction of the confiscated drugs. Kia ora.